Good morning. This lesson is for my Integrated 1 classes, but before I get started, I want to say I hope that everyone's doing all right out there. I'm not sure how I'm going to title this lesson, but I'm going to title it how I title it in the title. What I am sure of are two goals for the day. Our first goal is going to be to understand how to make the Y-intercept into an ordered pair. And our second goal is going to be to write equations of lines in slope-intercept form, knowing the slope and Y-intercept. So before I continue, I'd like to give an overview of the series of lessons that I've created, just to let you know what the point of this is. So when we're asked to write the equations of lines, there's three classic questions. Write the equation of the line knowing 2 points, write the equation of the line knowing the slope and a point on the line, and write the equation of the line knowing the y-intercept and the slope of the line. 3 questions, and I believe there's a couple different methods to answer each one. So the student struggles, in my experience, knowing which method to use based on what scenario they have. So in this series of lessons, what I've done is we're using the same formula to answer all 3, and we're interpreting some information which allows each of the questions to essentially be the same problem. And what I hope from this is students stop struggling on knowing which method to use for each problem, and then understand the information that they're given and look at this as the same question asked 3 different ways. There is a shortcut to answer one of these methods. I'm not going to talk about it because that kind of defeats the purpose of my goal. But again, I really think that this method kind of masks which problem is the most difficult. And when a student doesn't know which problem is the most difficult, it makes it a little bit easier for them to master, because they're not going into it already with a predetermined notion that this is going to be a hard problem. So I'm trying to avoid that situation. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the lesson, read what I wrote so I don't have to repeat myself. So let's do some review. We need 4 numbers to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, and we're going to find those 4 numbers in our table that we create. We need the change in x number, we need the first x value number, we need the first y value number, and we need the change in y value number. We plug these numbers into our formula, which I have written up here, and we use the 6 steps to simplify, which puts our equation into slope-intercept form. I have 4 of our 6 steps written. Eliminate fractions by multiplying everyone by the denominator. Second step would be to distribute, means you have parentheses. The third step is to combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. We don't need the 4th and 5th step. And our last step, divide away a number from the variable side with the equal sign. Now the last step's a little bit of a variation of it, but it's still essentially the same idea. Now also let's review what the slope, or m, actually is equal to, and that's actually equal to the change in y and the change in x. So when I say slope, or m, I'm telling you these numbers, which are here and here in our table. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into our first goal, which is to understand how to make the y-intercept into an ordered pair. Now notice that I have a graph and I have points on the y-axis, and I have the coordinates of the points on the y-axis written out. Because the y-intercept, or the b, is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And I have all the points written on there to show you something. Every point on the y-axis has 0 for the x-coordinate. Every point has 0 for the x-coordinate. Alright, so if I was to draw this y-axis in both directions and keep adding ordered pairs, the x value would always be 0. So if I tell you that the y-intercept is equal to 7, I'm telling you that we have the ordered pair 0, 7. So telling you this means we have that. And again, I want you to understand how to make the y-intercept into an ordered pair, because we know how to put ordered pairs into tables. That's our first x value and our first y value. So I'm going to go ahead and check off the first goal. All right, moving on to our second goal. Write equations of lines in slope-intercept form, knowing the slope and the y-intercept. All right, I have 2 examples, one with a nice fraction, or a nice number for our slope, and the second with a fraction for the slope. And it's just going to reiterate the method or the problem I'm working on, and it's still the same formula, and hopefully this feels familiar. All right, so let's make a quick little table for this. Well, by the way, if I tell you that the m is 5, the slope is 5, I'm telling you that the change in y is 5 and the change in x is 1. if I'm telling you that B is equal to -2, I have the y-intercept. So I can make an ordered pair and say that I have 0, -2. All right, so now I have enough information to make my table. All right, I got my x and my f of x. My ordered pair is 0, -2. And my change in y is 5. And my change in x, my change in y is 5. I can do this. I'm having a hard time. My change in y is 5. And my change in x is 1. Okay, I got it. Now that I have the 4 numbers that I need, I can plug that into our formula, which is going to give me f of x is equal to my first y value plus my change in y divided by my change in x, parentheses, x plus the opposite of my first x value. Now, this is a nice problem because 5 over 1 just turns into 5. So we're going to get f of x equals -2 plus 5, parentheses, x minus 0. Now we can use our steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We don't do step 4, we don't do step 5. Do I have a fraction to eliminate? No, I do not. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do, so I can distribute. So we're going to distribute the 5 to the x and the 5 to the 0. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times -0 is 0. Let's write the rest. F of x equals -2 plus 5x minus 0. Can I combine like terms on each side of the equal sign? Yes, I can. I can put these together. So I'm going to get f of x is equal to, I owe $2, I owe nothing more. That means that I still owe $2. And f of x is equal to 5x minus 2. That is my equation in slope-intercept form or simplified form. All right, so that's my first example. Let's do this second example. All right, so I have slope is 2 over 3, so I've told you our change in y, and I've told you our change in x. I've told you that our y-intercept is -4, which means that we have the point 0, -4. So now we have enough information to set up our table for this problem. Let me draw a little bit of a line between these so we're not overlapping problems here. So my table that I can create goes like this. And again, I keep going back to the table because I want all these problems to have seem like they're the same problem, which they essentially are. So I can put my ordered pair 0, 4, 0, -4. My change in y is 2. My change in x is 3. And I now have enough numbers to plug in for my formula. So I get f of x equals my first y value, which is -4, plus my change in y, or my change in x, parentheses, x plus the opposite of my first x value, so it's x minus 0. And I'm going to make sure I got room on this whiteboard. I really hate having to rewrite these things because I don't have enough room. All right. So I can't eliminate that fraction or simplify the fraction out, so I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Do I have a fraction to eliminate by multiplying everyone by the denominator? Yes, I do. So my denominator is 3, and remember, this is considered one number. So we're going to put a 3 next to the 2, we're going to put a 3 next to the 4, and a 3 next to the f of x. So now I have 3 f of x's. And that's equal to 4 times -3, which is -12, plus that 3 and that 3 cancel, so now I have plus 2 x minus 0. Okay. Oh, we can't do step 4 and step 5. Can I distribute? Yes, I can. We have parentheses, so that means I can distribute 2 times x and 2 times -0. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 0 is 2 times -0 is 0. So now I have 3 f of x's, and that's equal to -12 plus 2x minus 0. Can I combine like terms on each side of the equal sign? Yes, I can. -12 minus 0, that's -12. So now I have 3 f of x is equal to -12, 3 f of x is equal to 2x minus 12. All right. Can I divide away a number? Yes, I can. I can divide away the 3 to everybody. So I'm going to divide you by 3, I'm going to divide you by 3, and I'm going to divide you by 3. That cancels out, and I get f of x is equal to 2 over 3 x. 3 goes into negative 12, negative 4 times. And that's my equation in slope-intercept form or simplified form. And this was an example with a fraction. So when we have a fraction, we get rid of the fraction, simplify everything, bring the fraction back. And it's okay to get a fraction at that point or that number for your final answer. So again, I wanted to show you how to make a y-intercept into an ordered pair and write equations of lines in slope-intercept form, knowing the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here, maybe end this series of lessons for writing equations of lines. I do have a lesson on how to write the equation of the line in standard form. I don't know if I need to make another one for this, so I don't think I will. I'm getting tired of making these lessons. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Again, I hope everyone is doing all right out there. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.